Hello. I realized that I set the time wrong for this. That's my bad. It was supposed to be today. I'm hoping that we still get some light from outside because it's just not the best of days. It's been raining the past few days. Um, so I have this lamp here. Oh, wrong. Just to help a little bit. With the lighting if needed. It's a little bit warmer. But these are the designs that we'll be working on today. I don't know if it's the vertical view that is just so grainy to me. But I don't love it. We'll see what happens though. Again, most of this is me just testing out what works. Let me see what looks with the lights. Okay, so all of this looks very similar on camera. The lighting, it mainly helps me to see, so it doesn't really matter in that perspective because I have to be able to see where I'm going. But let me just... Yeah, I scheduled everything for the wrong time, as usual. But that's okay. So I will be keeping track of what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep track of how long some of these designs take to make. Okay. I was concerned there for a second because all of my times were gone. Okay, so these are the 3 designs that we're doing. If anybody has one specific one that you would like me to start with, let me know. Right now, I'm like starting... Actually, I don't know. All the drilling has been done. Actually, because the live stream that I did some drilling while doing this, and it tired my body out a lot. But today, we have more of a better chance with just cutting because I have 3 different designs to cut, and we're only focusing on the tops today. I didn't really drill the bottoms. Also, all of my drill bits ended up being faulty. That was extremely annoying. I did not like that at all. It took me way longer to drill these pieces than it should have. But it's okay. I'm really happy that I did it off like the live stream. Because otherwise I would have been struggling in live stream and that would have really sucked. Because I think I had 4 left on my little tube. And I had 3 other ones that I just put to the side because they didn't work. 2 of the 4 broke because I was just not drilling through the copper and I was putting too much pressure. And this was yesterday that I tried them all out. And today I tried them all out again and I looked for a few more because I have a little thing back here with that has like other drill bits that I've used, but some of them are for like wood and things like that. I might try some more because I think I have 2 more here. But if I put them aside, it means that they're not currently functional to me. But yeah, like I have them in a little box. But the drilling took way longer than it should have. So my plan was just focus on the tops. So that's what we're doing today. Because the last few live streams I've been doing the bottoms. And these are already recorded, so I could do these. But I just don't know which one to start with. So if anybody has a preference on what to do or what they would like to see me cut first, let me know. And we can get that going. Kind of a little bit tired today, but it's not too dangerous to do this while tired. I'm not like super tired that I can't see. But yeah, we're going from easiest to the most complicated design. I feel because I haven't cut since, what's today? Saturday. So Wednesday, I think. I haven't cut since Wednesday. I think I should start with the cat since it's a very easy design. It's only 3 holes. And then move on from the easiest to the hardest. So that would be the bull next. And then the butterfly has a lot of tiny details that would need to be cut. So that was the main plan. I'm wondering if I'm too zoomed in. There you go. Yeah, and we can put these other 2 to the side and start with the cat. It's really not that complicated to do that. Well, people come around to join the live stream. And if you hear a noise in the background, it's my bird. She's here with me. So we're going to start with the cat. I hope you're able to see. I feel like we recently got better internet at my house, so I'm hoping that it works. I'm like giving higher quality streams, but it just seems like it doesn't want to. This is the most empty I've seen a cover piece. Like it's just 3 holes at the top. So sad. I'm literally devastated that I had 4 drill bits left and all of them failed me. And I wasn't going to stream until like Tuesday maybe, because I ordered new drill bits. But then that would have been a while. Are we good? Can we see? Yes, we can see. Oop, sounds like the blade is already making a noise. Oh, this is what is this? This is lubricant for the blade. It just helps it cut better. And it also cools it down from being used a lot. I think that noise is it drying, the oil's drying down, because they usually come with like a protective oil to help it from rusting. But if you leave them out on an open area, then they dry out and they start rusting a little bit. So I think that's that noise. It's usually not too bad though. So we have one hole done. Again, this is going to be the easiest one to do because it's only 3 holes. But it's a very effective design, in my opinion. The cat is just easy, simple. Sorry, I kind of went quiet there for a second. I was concentrating on that tiny eye. So this is one of the simplest designs I have out of the ones that I've made. I think after this, it's either the bird or the dog that are the other very easy ones, and then the bull follows after that. But doing the silhouette of a cat works really well. This is where I can't. I think cats, for the most part, like, you say you're doing a silhouette, they look very similar. There's so many examples of like silhouettes of cats out there, so they're just very easy. They can be very simplistic and effective, which is nice to have a design that can be like that. Well, the other designs are just a bit more complicated. I had to adjust them a lot, but some design simplicity is better, like this cat. And I think I said this when I was cutting the branches part of the dog, but there's so many different breeds of dogs that it's hard to do a dog in this way because there is more difference in dogs than there are more difference in cats. But the end of April is coming. I feel like April is basically over. I'm getting a little bit nervous because outside of making these designs, I have something else happening. I'm working on a different project. One of them is due in May, and the other one, I don't know when it's due. I'm still working on the design aspect of everything for that one, and I'm just a bit anxious that they're going to drop the date for both at around the same time. And I also have to get all of these done by July. That's my bird. So it's a little bit, I don't know, complicated. Actually, one of the, for me, I don't know if anybody has been wondering, for me, one of the hardest things to cut with a jewelry shop are straight lines. I don't know why they're so difficult, but they are. Excuse my birdie. It's okay. I'm gonna cover her up a little bit because I'm right next to her, so she gets distracted or amused by the noise. And I was saying how I was so happy that I wasn't drilling live because I don't know what's going on with my drill, but it's also making a lot of noise. And he is extremely attracted to the noise right now. Just continues to talk all the time. The drill goes off. I forgot where my hole was. I think I passed it. Where's my hole? Oh, there we are. I'm like trying to get this big piece out, and I just couldn't find where it broke off. All right, there you go. If we get these pieces down really fast, then I might just go back and clean up some of my other ones. Because I think tomorrow, depending on if I'm busy or if my new drill bits don't arrive by Monday, then a good thing to do meanwhile is start sanding and cleaning off the other designs that I've already done. But I know some of them can use some cleaning of edges. As I said, because straight lines are just so difficult to do. I think when it comes to metal cutting. Okay, so the cat is done for now. It's really hard to tell if I need to cut more just because, I mean, it looks pretty good from the back. I don't know if you can see that. It looks clean. It looks like it's supposed to look. So I think I got everything. But there's some pieces I cut the sides as well from a bigger sheet of copper. There's some sides that are like very wavy, like I can see here. That needs to either be like sanded down or filed down. Or I can go in with the saw and cut that out. Now we're going to move on to the next one, which is this bowl. It's an exciting one of my, I don't know what's up with me and bowls lately, but I've been really into bowls. I've also been super into goats. This goat is one of my favorite designs from the series that I'm making. The horse is also really nice. Horses are just nice. This is the horse design. I already have some of these done in terms of cutting, but I need to record the horse. So we're going with this bull. So we already got done with the cat. Here's a cat. Turned out pretty good, I think. It was very easy, very simple. There were only 3 holes. But this one has more. So that's going to be interesting. They're bigger, which is nice. The butterfly itself, which we'll be doing after the bull, this one has a lot of holes. Some of the lines are very small. So we're actually going to be flying through that one really fast. The cat was really fast just because it doesn't have a lot of detail. So with this one, I think I started at the top corner. I say this in every video, but I do have a very specific order in which I cut things, because it's helpful to do it in a certain order. Oops. I think one of the scarier parts, especially that I noticed when teaching metal cutting, is that people are afraid to really get like right next to the line that you want to cut, specifically if you want to perfect it. There's really nothing scary about it. The blades that I use are very strong, so they shouldn't break from just trying to get really close to your lines. They will break if you have been using the blade for a while and you haven't lubricated it, so it has weak points. There's also ways ways to use your saw to make the blade last longer. And I think that's something that people don't know, but it's one of the things that I teach, that I like specifically teach when metal cutting, because it's important technique and all of that. But a lot of people might center like here, but you really want to use your whole blade, and that distributes the friction of the blade, so not one spot is targeted. If you're like mainly using one spot, which I do sometimes, especially if I'm going really slow because I'm about to like completely cut out a piece, then it makes sense to go a little bit slower. But you'll just see where you center that. You'll see that if the blade is likely to break, it's going to break in that area. But to make your blade last longer, you do want to use the whole thing. So now we did that one. And we're going to cut this bigger section now. Wait, am I going that way or this way? I think I'll have to go this way. I do prefer cutting more on the right. So I think I just drilled this one wrong. Because I prefer to cut my pieces on the right side. Just because I can see it better. I don't know if that makes sense. But I prefer, like, if I'm cutting to... No, wait. To cut on the left. I don't know how to say it. But to basically be leaning towards the left instead of leaning towards the right. It's just easier for me to control my hands, and if I'm doing straight lines, it's so much easier for me to do a straight line if I'm leaning more left than I am right. And then I also have just an easier time making turns if I'm leaning right than left. But that's why I usually plan my drilling, and when I drilled it, I was like, oh, I think that's wrong. But like I said, I was struggling with my drill bits, so I just didn't want to make another hole. But I am trying to use the entirety of the blade, which is probably why you see me slamming onto the bottom of this. And sometimes I slam onto my finger because I'm like getting really high and really low. But I also try to have like a very soft grip on the handle because this doesn't require a lot of pushing. And the piece lifting up like that, that just means that I'm not grabbing it strong enough. So it's lifting. Because I'm also not cutting straight. I don't know how to explain what I'm doing. But I always try to angle my saw a little bit. Alright, this is where the order doesn't really matter at this point. I'm just going to try to cut what I can. Some of these holes are very small, or not holes, but some of these areas that I need to cut out are really small, so you'll likely see me jumping all over quickly, or a lot, because there's just a lot of tiny details that need to be cut out. And I forgot I keep track of how long cutting this piece is taking me. But it doesn't really matter because I upload the streams after. They also get saved onto my channel. So I can just go back and record my times from the stream. So I don't know why I'm always freaking out about, oh, I didn't write my times when I can go back and check. This is one of the hardest parts to cut because it's just really hard to see the eye of the bull here. Where does it feel like? Because there is just so much dust and sometimes the blade pulls up the paper, then it's a lot harder to see where I've cut and where I haven't cut. That's right. I'm going to be able to tell much better once I sand them and take the paper off, if I got it right or not. But that's always hard to tell while I'm cutting. But that's why there's just a lot of process to this. Alright. I think one of the hardest parts to cut here is what would be the nose of the bull. I don't know why it's so difficult. The shape is just like, it always scares me for some reason because there's just a lot of turning. I think that's why. It's a whole just thing of turning. And if you strain your blade while doing this, there's a possibility that it will snap and you could hurt yourself. But I always move my left hand more than I move my right hand. You always want to move more that hand. It's a lot harder to control the blade if you're moving the saw itself. And you do kind of have to learn how to work in sync with both arms. Just checking that everything is correct before moving forward. There we go. There we go. Are we still able to see? It seems like we are. I feel like I have no light because it's just been cloudy outside. The sun hasn't come out. There we go. That one was very simple to cut because it's just a hole that I have to make bigger. And I don't like to just leave the pattern of the hole itself because it's too perfect. Even if I have to like go in and make it more square or something, that's worth it than having to leave it be a circle because it looks abnormal. I don't know why. Unless what you want is a perfect circle, then that's the only time that it works with your design. But at least for me, most of the time, I want it to be imperfect because it seems more natural. Some of these lines are very easy. To do. And there we are. I'm stuck on something. This is another design that will get done fast. I think that's why I wanted to do more of like the bottom patterns on stream. Oh, I dropped my saw. Okay. I was trying to check this one hole that I have because it looks like I didn't drill it. Oh, it is drilled. It looks like it was that the drill bit didn't go through all the way. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm struggling. Which one is it? Sorry for the noise. It's gonna be this one. There you go. It's bigger now. These holes are really tiny, so if they're any smaller than what they should be, I wouldn't be able to fit this specific blade through it. It barely just fits in there where if I need to move my blade, like I can. Well, not the blade, but I can move the blade freely through this circle. Any tighter than it'd be hard. But it's free enough that one size up and I can probably cut through or fit one that is a little bit of a bigger size. Here you go. Very simple. Let me check that the audio didn't go off. Oh, it seems like I moved you as well. There we go. It's a little bit hard to see, honestly. There we are. But yeah, these are very simple lines, so I'm gonna be getting through them very quickly. And it seems like I'm cutting nothing, but I am cutting something when I go back and clean it up a little bit. I can see it at least. And I know what my design looks like, that I know if it needs to be cleaned a little bit more. But yeah, aside from literally just focusing on what I'm cutting, I focus on how I'm cutting it. I'm making sure that I'm using the entirety of the blade, making sure that my grip on the handle of the saw is soft. I always talk about the classes that I taught, but for the classes, teaching metal cutting is hard because it sounds very innuendo-y, everything you're saying. Or even like the motions are very innuendo. But I would always say long, slow strokes. I cut faster than that, but at least my strokes are long. But for class, I would always be like long and slow strokes. All right, now we get to the complicated parts, which are the other dark areas. It seems like the light is really leaving me, so I'm gonna turn this on because I can't see anymore. I don't know if that helps. I think that all of these are reflecting too much. There we are. All right, we're gonna work on the darker sides now. There's some corners in which I can make the 90 degree angle, but there are some other ones that I can't, so I just make like a small triangle so I can continue with what I'm doing. And don't get scared, I will not cut myself. I know the blade is so close to my finger sometimes. Oh, there. And you can finish this one off. But I can see that I need to go back and clean it up a little, so that's what I'm doing now. And this one should be good, I think. And there we are. Now for the last piece of this bowl. This one, it looks like I'm gonna go all the way up here. It looks crazy, but it's really not that crazy. I think for when I teach or when I do videos, I think the one part that is the most... Hey. Hello, my bird. Sorry, I forgot. Is when I do a lot of curves. Because it looks kind of crazy to do a lot of curves, but it's not that crazy. Oops, I'm gonna go back how I started. And there we are. Now we go back. See, I think what I'm struggling with more now is where the hell is my hole that I started with? I can't see it. I don't know why. And I always try to go slow when I'm trying to find it because these blades are so strong that they can literally make a dent onto the copper. There we go. Seems like I need to clean it up here a little bit, so I'm going back to do that. There we go. That was a little bit difficult to get through, but there, that's what it looks like. Looks pretty nice and clean, actually. Like it's supposed to. And then I can see a difference in the upper lines. There, that's all where it's not straight from the top. But that's okay, that's things that can be fixed once I sand it off. So now we have the cat and the bull done. Now we're gonna work on this butterfly. And this one has a lot of holes to work on, but they're all very simple designs, or not very simple design, but very simple lines to cut, so it won't take long. And I'm actually gonna start with the interior, a little bit of these. It's gonna take me a minute to find the right hole. But this one has a little bit more weak points, so I need to find the right holes to start with, because otherwise I might be straining the copper a lot. Again, this is very thin copper. It's, I believe, dead soft copper, so it's very easy to bend. And I am working on a smaller hole on the bench or on my pin, but that still doesn't mean that there isn't a way that the design can get bent if there are too many weak points. So there we are. Cut that one. And we're gonna go to the one right next to it, which I think it's this one. Yep. And these are very simple lines that I'm cutting, so they're gonna go by fast. There we are. Then we go to this big one. I think it's this one. Yep. Okay. And now I can cut this big section there because there isn't any weak points now. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just gonna go straight, find the hole. There you go. Then continue this line. finished it. Now I go back and do this other one. And there you go. Now I'm checking the corners mainly because when it comes to cutting the 90-degree angles, that's what I struggle with. I'm doing it in one go. Sometimes it becomes more of a soft 90-degree, which is fine. But if it is soft, I just want to make sure that it's not fully circular. And I think what I'm going to do is start from here and head out this way. Because, I don't know, it just seems the easiest path to take. That will move around all the weak points. I'm making a tiny hole here at top with the blade itself so I can turn like this. And start my straight line. And then I'll do the same thing over here where I will make a tiny hole. And I'm doing this just so I can turn my blade in this spot. It might be tight sometimes, so I'm gonna have to make it a little bit bigger. But then you can just flip without having to cut at the same time. And then you can continue cutting. And I'm gonna cut this side first because it's a weaker point. And then I'll cut this. Just checking that it's good. Looks good. And so we move on to the next one. This butterfly, I was actually able to drill well. My drill bit hadn't, my last good drill bit hadn't broken yet. So I was actually able to drill these holes really well. So I think it would have been a lot harder if I would have started with my other designs and then the drill bit broke. Because the other designs just didn't have a lot of holes to be drilled, and some of the details to cut were a lot bigger, which means that if for some reason one of the drill bits didn't work and it slid around, it wouldn't affect the final design, but it would affect this one because there's just so many tiny details. And actually, I loved this butterfly when I made it, but I don't know if I like it anymore. I was thinking of revisiting it and maybe doing a different butterfly design because I don't love this one. I still like it. I think somebody will like it. But if I can make a different design that I like now, that would be great. I think I'm going to go this way. There you go. And now we cut another big one, which I don't know if I like that I put the hole this low, but it's okay. I know it's really hard to see what I'm doing, but I will have recordings of these, or I do have recordings of these that will be uploaded later, where I'm a lot closer. The quality is better because for some reason YouTube hates when I do live streams and the quality is never great. But if you are interested, that I don't know when that video will be up, but I'll have a lot of these designs that I've been working on there that you can take a closer look at. I also have some shorts with some of these patterns are already. They're not as detailed, but they're helpful. Nope, I don't want to do that. All right. There we go. And now before I head down to these, this is going to make the rest of the butterfly very weak. So I'm going to focus on these tiny details up here before I do that, because I don't want to make the wings of the butterfly extremely weak by cutting them first, or by cutting them last. So I'm going to do that now. And these are all tiny details, so they're going to go by fast. And usually I do this off, like, you can't really see what I'm doing when I'm putting the blade back through the design. But I always check the tension of the blade before I bring it over, because you want it to be tight enough that the blade is not going to start sliding off its slots, and then that could cause a lot of damage to your blade if you do it that way. So I am checking the tension. And then also it shouldn't be like too difficult, because you, depending on the length of your blade, you should be able to set like pre-tension. Just off where the top of the blade should hit. And that means that every time you touch that part or reach that part, then your blade is set. But that's not always the case. But it also depends on like how well you tighten it. So I tighten it, and then I check the tension really quickly to make sure that I tighten it correctly. And I'm tightening with my hand, and sometimes I struggle to untighten it. So I try not to tighten it too hard, but just hard enough where when I do this, I can do it very easily because sometimes I be struggling and I gotta bring out my pliers to help me turn it. But then turning it with the pliers is not the best of ideas because then this is very soft, so it can bend and break like the bottom one thing. And there's my bird again. There we are. I'm moving faster through these because I'm getting a little bit tired of sitting on this chair specifically. And that should be good. All right. One thing that I'm really looking forward to, if I can, is that at the end of, well, not at the end of this year, but maybe around November or August, I want to see if I can give metal cutting classes near me. I don't know why I'm thinking those days. I'm thinking more for like Valentine's Day, like leading up to Valentine's Day or something like that. I think that doing something like this would be really cool, like a workshop for metal cutting and making something custom for your loved ones. So Valentine's Day, I was thinking also like Christmas, if you want to make something a little bit more sentimental for your loved ones. And making a design is like, cutting the design is like very easy. I think it's coming up with that design that will be the hardest thing if I am doing more of a custom, what do you call it? Like if it's more customizable, that would be something extra that I would have to work with someone over. But I'm still trying to figure out like exactly how I want to do it because I think it'd be so cool to host workshops around Valentine's Day and have it be like either a couple activity or one of the couples comes in and does something for their partner. I thought about this last Valentine's Day. I was like, wouldn't that be so cool? But I definitely need a bit more help with that. So I'm hoping that the vendor show that I'm doing helps a little bit with that. Oh God. Okay, I tightened that one a little bit too hard. Now I just follow this pattern in line and we should be back on track. What's going on here? All right. And I'm leaving the best part for last. I do like cutting bigger areas than the smaller areas, because having to remove and insert the blade each time is very annoying. So I'm excited to get to that big black area and cut it out. The details are fun to a certain extent. And the good thing is that these aren't like extremely complicated details. Oops. Okay, I don't know if to go all the way through. Yeah, I don't like how that looked like on my other butterfly, so I won't do that this time. I don't know why it does that noise. Alright, it might need that it needs a little bit more lubricant. Yeah, I think that looks better. I'm gonna put some lubricant on it off to the side because it's easier than while I'm doing it here. Alright. And now we get to the big part. And we're just over an hour of metal cutting. Okay, and I can't make a turn there completely by myself, so I do a small cut. And here, I can actually try and turn. And it's continuing. I don't know how to explain how I do those. I try to explain it before in class. The thing is that doing a turn like that can fail sometimes. So it's just a thing of practice and finding your own way of like doing things. You could literally just make like a tiny triangle there to try and make that turn, but I have found that I can make that turn without having to do that, so I do it. But sometimes it is hard, and sometimes I do have to sorry, sometimes you have to go back and just clean it up a little bit, because it's not going to be perfect over here. I'm gonna clean up some of these a little bit. They're not awful. And there we are. Okay. I got rid of my light. Something's going on. Okay, there you go. It's turning off. Alright, it's not wanting to work. But here we are with this design. This is what the butterfly looks like. Putting it under my shirt so you can see it better. So that's the butterfly. Turned out pretty good, I think. Like I said, I might revisit this design and make a new butterfly design because I think this one's nice, but I don't love it. And today, these are the 3 designs that I got to cut while in live stream. So let me know which one. Whoop. Let me know which one of these 3 designs is your favorite. I think people are gonna be biased, but I am biased too, honestly. But yeah, I'm kind of tired out now. It's been an hour since I started live streaming. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I upload new shorts every Friday and post long videos occasionally. If you're interested in looking at more of my work, I have a lot of jewelry on Instagram under Handmade Imperfection. And then I have my sculpture Instagram, which is Diana Laura Designs, which is the same as this YouTube channel. I do have my jewelry and my sculptures separated, just because, I don't know, I like to keep them separated, because they're very distinct from each other. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I won't probably live stream for a while just because I don't have any drill bits or anything, so I don't have any designs that I can currently cut. So I will likely see you next week around Wednesday. Have a good day.